What's up, YouTube people? Welcome to Jasmine T TV. I am Jasmine T. If you're new to the channel, then welcome. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, and that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I upload new content. Now, guys, hopefully this fan isn't too loud, but I can't turn it off because it's hot as hell. Okay, I can't do it. All right. Today we're going to talk about apartment hunting. I found an apartment. I told you guys in last week's video when I shared my trip to Veracruz. At the end of that video, I let you guys know that I did find an apartment. I'm so excited because I just love the feel of the place. I love the location. Yeah, really excited. I'm not there now. I'm actually in my second Airbnb. So at the filming of this video, I'm not there, but by the time this video uploads, I should be in that apartment. And I say should because contracts here are kind of loose. So hopefully I get my keys. We'll see. Just pray on that. Just pray on that, please. Yeah, but I want to share kind of like my process and the apartments that I looked at, the neighborhoods I looked at, where I've been staying. Okay. And so towards the end of this video, I will be showing you like mini tours of the apartments that I've been staying in and the apartments that I looked at. Okay. So if you really want to see like tours and stuff, you can watch to the end of this video. Cool. All right. So the first apartment that I stayed in there for an entire month. Yes, I have been in Mexico for an entire month. I was talking to my friend yesterday and she was like, I can't believe it. And I was like, yeah, been here that long already. So I stayed in Escandon Section 1. That was my first Airbnb. My second Airbnb right now is Escandon Section 2. So I've just been like chilling in Escandon area. I chose that area because it seemed close to the hip areas, but didn't have that hip area price tag. Because as I told you guys before, I have been spoiled by the prices in Warsaw, Poland, and I just don't want to give people my coins for something that's not mine. Like, it pains me to do that, okay? But gotta do what I gotta do. So I've been in this Escandon area. I like it. It's been chill, but I knew this wasn't like my neighborhood, if that makes sense. It just didn't feel like, yeah, nah, I ain't want to stay here that long. I'm trying to give more reasons, but yeah, nah, I didn't really want to feel like I didn't want to stay here long term, okay? So then I started looking at La Condesa and Roma Norte, which are those hip areas. But like I said, that hip area price tag doesn't mean that you're going to get like a really nice apartment. And so, yeah, I'll tell you guys about the apartment that I saw in Condesa. And I was just like, nah, son, I'm straight. I'd rather spend money, not necessarily for location, but for a nicer apartment, especially since I work from home and I'm going to have to be in that space the majority of the time. I want to be comfortable inside. So yeah, the apartment I saw in Condesa was not going to work for me. And like I said, you'll see that in a bit. But also Roma Norte and Condesa, I do go to those areas often because I drink there often. They have a lot of cool bars and restaurants and you can get a nice little cocktail over there. So I do like it for that. And that is why I considered staying there. But yeah, I'd rather just catch an Uber there. So I started looking at neighborhoods outside of those areas, but still kind of close. I wanted to kind of be close to Chapultepec Park, just because I wanted to try to do my morning walks and things like that. So I started looking at San Miguel Chapultepec. I did have breakfast there one morning and I really just enjoyed my walk to the restaurant. And I was like, I might consider this neighborhood. Then I ended up in Juarez one day. Didn't mean to end up there, but I ended up in Juarez one morning because I was looking for waffles and there was a restaurant there and I really liked the vibe of that place. I remember my brother stayed in San Rafael when he was here and that neighborhood kind of looked nice, but I never went back there. And so that's just I'm naming that neighborhood for anybody who's considering neighborhoods in Mexico City. So for me, it was about San Miguel Chapultepec and Juarez. Those are just the neighborhoods that I just really like the vibe. La Condesa and Roma Norte, of course, if you Google like popular neighborhoods or where should I live, those two areas, where do a lot of foreigners stay? Like for me, I don't really need to stay in an area with a lot of foreigners. I am completely fine if I step up my door and don't see another foreigner in sight. That is completely fine with me. I don't want to move to a country and then just stay with a whole bunch of other foreigners. Like I don't want to do that. But if you feel like you need that type of stuff, then maybe Roma Norte and Condesa might be for you. But in my opinion, those areas seem kind of snobby. Okay, that's just my opinion. People might feel differently. So actually, let's talk about the apartment that I did see in Condesa. I saw 2 units in the same building. I went to like the third or fourth floor first, and that apartment was not really up to my standard. So I was just like, that one really didn't speak to me. So then he showed me one that was downstairs on the bottom floor, and so walk-in is bigger, but the standard is even lower. And so I'm looking at it. We do the whole tour, and actually, when you walk in the apartment, there's this step. So we open the door, you step up, and then you walk through the apartment. On the way out, when I was about to do the step down, I saw all of these roaches. And the guy who was showing me the apartment didn't really speak English well. So I was just like, las cucarachas, grande, you know? And he was just like, muerta, they're dead, you know? And I was just like, but they inside, you know? Like, no afuera, they're not outside, they're inside. Like, they had to come in first. And I was just like, he said, but we spray. And he was trying to tell me that they spray pesticide and that's why they were dead. And then I said, well, do you guys spray upstairs? And he was like, no, only downstairs. And I was just like, why? He was like, they don't go upstairs. And I was like, since when do roaches not climb? Like, I was just so confused. It was a very, I had a fun time with that guy because he was hilarious. But yeah, those apartments, bless his heart, they were not gonna work for me. So let's go ahead and just take a look at that apartment, all right? The toilet, no. Okay, we are. Okay, gracias. That was La Condesa. Let me know your thoughts about that. Now let's take a look at the Escandon neighborhood. I do want to say really quickly that because it is an older neighborhood, I don't know if this contributes to why like the power outages and the water issues are here. I don't know if that's Escandon or like multiple neighborhoods in Mexico City, or if that's just like I don't know what the problem is. But when I did my first night coming to my Airbnb in Escandon 1, you know, the host said, by the way, we do have some water issues, but it's not us, it's the neighborhood. And I was like, okay, like y'all ain't put that in the listing, you know what I'm saying? But out of the whole month, there was one night where I did not have water. Like, I was legit going to wash my hair and the water didn't come on. So and the power outages would last for like 5 to 10 minutes at a time, and I would just sit there, wait, and then it would come back on. So I thought maybe that could have just been their place, but now that I'm in Escandon 2, I have also experienced a little bit of power outages, but I can live with that. The water outages, no. The power outages I can deal with because they're only, like I say, 5 to 10 minutes at a time. But anywho, let's take a look at the Escandon 1 Airbnb, and then right after that, we'll take a look at the Escandon 2 neighborhood, okay? Let's enter here. Do you guys remember the same exact rug in Krakow, Poland? I don't know if anyone remembers that. So this is the inside of the Airbnb. This is where I've been staying. All right. So as you see, just refrigerator. I think that's the only like big appliance here. This as well, microwave, little sink, and this is the Microdine that I was telling you guys about to wash like the fruits that I have. Right here, the bathroom. Okay, nothing too fancy, but this is also the shower filter I was telling you guys about. And let me show you. I don't know if this was all right. So the water pressure is not that great. So sis, imagine washing your hair with that water pressure. Not really working for me. Hopefully that is not a standard here in Mexico. Okay, so that is the shower or bathroom. Plenty of storage. So, all my items, all my messy items. And then let's go up here and we can see into the courtyard. Not that well actually, but maybe if we look back some, you can kind of see out there. And so this has been my source of relief from the heat. I'm keeping this window open. I've had it open like this whole time. Okay, and this is the bedroom where I sleep and work. Yep, this is it, y'all. This is the Airbnb I have been staying in. I'll be leaving here soon and going somewhere else, but I really like their design. I really like all their little touches. They were really intentional with all of this. So yeah, that's it. Okay guys, so we are in our second Airbnb in Mexico City. I'm here for a week because the apartment that I am in love with is not ready yet. So we have to stay here. These steps are kind of awkward. I really don't know what they were going for. I guess loft on top of loft. Lofts on lofts on lofts. I don't know. But this little terrace is nice. Hello, Mexico City. And that's enough of that. Let's go back inside. At least this came with a fan. My last Airbnb did not come with a fan. All right. So you guys can see this kitchen plus where a washer could go. And then this is the bathroom. This one doesn't come with the shower filter, unfortunately, but it is what it is. All right, so that's where we're staying. Airbnb number 2, Mexico City. Those are the apartments that I've been staying in or that I've looked at. I will show you guys a tour of my apartment once I move in. Like I say, I'm just so excited. Also, and if you guys want to see other neighborhoods around Mexico City, San Miguel Chapultepec, Roma Norte, La Condesa, Polanco is nice, okay? If you guys want to see any of that, just make sure you drop a comment below. Let me know. Any comments, questions, suggestions, yes, drop them below. Make sure you check the description box for any additional information. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at JasmineT_TV if you want to keep up with like my daily life things. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.